this is Noreen from Joy of Cards, and today we're going to make a simple card. So this is from the Nature's Beauty stamp set. We're also going to use the sentiment from Winter Woods, and we're going to be using the rectangle stitch frames. So the first thing we want to do is, of course, the base, which is a simple 5.5 by 8.5 in the Mary Merlot scored. And you know what just came out just the other day was the new cutter, with the cutter and of course the score intact, and of course the arm comes out to extend. This thing is great. I just got mine. It's absolutely wonderful. So buy this. This is awesome. Anyway, so here's our Mary Merlot in the 5.5 by 8.5 scored. And then we're going to get the background is in the wrapped in plaid, and this is a 5 by 4. And then we are going to put another strip of Mary Merlot, and this is a 2" by 4. So this part is easy. So why don't we go ahead and do that first? So I'm going to go ahead and snail up my wrapped in plaid here. And just put it right there. And then I'm going to take my Mary Merlot and put it right where you could see the little gold lines here. I just put them right in the middle there. So I'm just going to do that right on top of the wrapped in plaid, right where those lines are. So far so good. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of shaded spruce and a piece of whisper white, and this is where the stitch frames come in to play. I'm going to use the third largest stitched frame is this size right here, and I went ahead and I die cutted that. And then I'm going to use the 4th largest stitch frame and do a shimmery white, because we're going to be doing like snow, and it's better to use the shimmery white. So I went ahead and I cut out the shaded spruce, and we can go ahead and put that on there as well. And now remember, with the stitched frames, there's a front and there's a back, so you got to make sure that you got the right one on there. Make sure you got the opening correct. And then I'm going to just put it right here in the middle. All right, and then the reason why I didn't show you my whisper white all cut out with the die is because I've got it here on my Stamparatus. So I went ahead and used the 3rd largest die for that one. And I've already got this lined up on my Stamparatus. I really like using my Stamparatus, especially if I'm going to make a lot of cards. And usually when you make a Christmas card, you use a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the deer from Nature's Beauty. So, and I'm going to do that in Memento. So just plain old black. And I'm going to ink that up really good. I'm going to move my Stamparatus back on my glass here. Stamp that up really good. And I thought I had this all lined up, and I don't have it where I want it. So I'm going to just move this over a bit. And move this down a little bit. That's the other thing you can do. You can adjust it as you go. And then, of course, it's never the best on the first one. That's why the Stamparatus is so great. So I'm going to do that. I think, well, no, I'll do it one more time. So we'll stamp that up again. And there we go. So the deer is on there really nice. So I'm going to take the deer off. And I'm also going to use the trees, the one that has 2 trees on it, right here. And I'm going to line that up right under the deer's ear, right alongside. And then close it up. And put on some more Memento. And stamp once. And it is kind of far away, so I don't know if I want it all that dark. So I think I like that ink right there. And then I'm going to take it off again and very gently because it's already got ink on it and I'm moving it. So I really don't like, usually, in fact, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'm going to be safe and I'm going to clean it off. And these things are in the catalog as well. The little like CD case and the little chamois here. This is fantastic. And what you do is you just get the chamois wet and then keep it in the box and it stays moist. Now, mine looks terrible, but it's fine. It's going to hold a little ink, and you can rinse it out every time, you know, because it'll stay wet for like 3 or 4 days or so. And then just go rinse out, you know, basically the top of whatever's on top of the chamois, and it'll be fine to clean your stamp. So that thing's fantastic. So I cleaned it off just real quick, just so I didn't, like, if I moved it, because when you put it down, some of that, you know, the stickiness from the stamp can kind of stick to your fingers and move, and you don't want to double stamp it. So I got it on there. See, it didn't make a mark, and I'm gonna stamp up the double trees. And I will give this one another go. And that's it. And of course, put the lid on your ink, because what you're going to do, if you leave it open, you're going to put something on it. Now, if you noticed, I had some other stamps on the other side. I'm going to take my tree off. And that's for the inside, and we'll do that in a minute. But I wanted to do the outside first. So move my magnets, and here's my stamp. So let's move this out of the way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and color the deer. So I've got my blending pens. I've got my light and dark crumb cake. So I'm going to go ahead and do light first. And also, I like to put a little light petal pink in her ear. So let's do her, I'm going to do her ear first. So I'm just going to just quickly do this. Just to get that in, and I'm going to use the light one first and just go around the pink there, around here, and I'll probably go ahead and speed up the video while I'm doing this. And if you happen to hit the outline of the deer, the Rich Razzleberry blending pen is actually a ink remover. So if you go out of your lines a little bit, if you get the Rich Razzleberry, you can take some of that out and fix your little whoopsies. So I'm going to just color in quick. And that's the light. And then I'm going to take the dark. I think I'll use the more pointier end and just go in where the marks are here. Just give her a little shading. And then I'll probably go ahead and take the light one again and blend it in. So we'll take the light again and just blend her in. Just blend it all in. Okay. All right. And then what I'm going to also do is I'm going to take the light balmy blue, and I'm going to give the snow effect here below her feet and under the trees. So I'm going to do that. Just take the painty end of it and do the trees, just the snow effect, and on by her feet, get in between the legs here. Right? And then I'm also going to go back to the dark crumb cake, to the pointy end, and I'm going to do the tree. Just the tree trunk real quick. Maybe a little beyond that. And go up. And go up. Okay. And then I'm going to take the shimmery crystal effects. And what I'm going to do, it has its own shimmery effect. And then, of course, it's sticky. So after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put on some dazzling diamonds and it'll stick. So I'm going to take my shimmery effect And if a big glob comes out, just do that there. Just, you know, spread it around. Do it here. Do it here. And then I'm going to put on, okay, my Dazzling Diamonds. I like using these trays because not only that, you know, it keeps it all together, but when I emboss, I keep my Versamark and my Stampin' Buddy in here because I always forget to use this thing. So I always keep them in their little house. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. And I'm going to pour a little bit of this on it. And then flick it off. Alright, and it's got that on there. And then when I'm done with this, I'll just pour this all back in there. And I know some people like using, they like using a piece of paper. I prefer that. So I'm going to also get a piece of scratch paper and get my Balmy Blue and pull this out without touching it, hopefully. And then I'm going to take one of the silly sponges that Stampin' Up! Sells, and I cut my little sponges into like 6 wedges. And what I like about this is dab this on, and I probably should have done this before I did the shimmery effect, but that's okay, is I just lightly stamp it. So it kind of gives that blue everywhere. But like I said, before you put your shimmery effect on, you might want to do this first. I just went out of order. So just kind of put it everywhere. It'll be fine. You can even go over the deer a little bit because she's so much darker. But even doing it backwards, like I did, it's fine. So go ahead and do that. And then take your box and make sure you close up that ink because you don't want to lay anything on it. So here we got so far. Alrighty, and then all we need to do is put her on the card, and I'll just put some tape on there and just put her on the front. Okay, so next we're going to do the inside, which is going to be the sentiment from Winter Woods, which is right here, and the tree, the single tree, which is right there. So what I'm going to do is I've got my 2 papers here, which is the 5 1/4 by 4 in shaded spruce and 3.75 by 5 in the shimmery white. So the next thing I'm going to do is put my shimmery white on and line up my magnets like so. And then I'm also going to lay down my stamps. I went ahead and took them off because I wanted to reposition them and make sure they're in the right spot. Put them there and there, close it up. Voila. I'm going to take my Memento and stamp it up real good. And I'm going to stamp that again because it didn't grab the S there. Great. And of course, close up your ink. And try not to touch things so much because I've touched a couple of times. I've had to restart my video because you really should wash your hands in between just so you don't mess up your card. So I'm going to put this to the side, put my scratch paper to the side, and then I'm going to put it on my shaded spruce. And you see, there's my boo-boo on the back, but this is a good, luckily you can just flip it over. So good example of not touching your inky hands to the paper. And then I'm going to go ahead, like we did in here, oops, like we did in our sample, which is somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and put the crystal effects on the bottom of the tree here. Just put it on like so. And I'm going to put a little bit in the trees. All right. And get my Dazzling Diamonds again. Put it on. flick it off. Boom. And maybe grab, you know, I used the dark crumb cake on the trees on the front. I think I like the lighter one. So even though I should have probably done this first, we'll just fill in the tree trunk right here. Maybe a couple of the branches. And that'll be fine. And then go ahead and put it in your card. Now the thing about using that Dazzling Diamonds is you want to make sure that you don't close the card for a while because it will need some time to dry. So go ahead and just leave it open. But that's it. That's the card. So if you like the video, please subscribe. And I'm going to be doing some drawings in a little while to give some stuff away. So that'll be good. But here is my YouTube channel, and that'll be great. If you are not my YouTube channel, my Stampin' Up channel. So if you want to place an order, go ahead and go right there. Thank you very much. Bye.